Agarwal. I am an immigration attorney. I'm based right outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia. Our clients, however, are all throughout the United States and abroad. You can be anywhere really in the world, and we can help you with U.S. immigration. We can't help you with Canada. We cannot help you with Mexico or any other country, but we can help you with immigrating to the United States. All right, so you can be located anywhere, and that's because immigration is considered a federal practice. Federal practice meaning any lawyer barred in good standing in any state can help you with your immigration matter. So we are set up to do this, and we do this for clients all throughout the country, as I mentioned, and we do it through meetings like this over video chat. For example, we have video conferencing through Zoom. We can function by phone. Some of our clients never actually see us in person, but you're always more than welcome to come to our office to drop off documents, to meet us in person, to sign up, to do your intake. Some people like to function 100% in person, and others like to do things remotely. So we can accommodate pretty much all of your preferences, and we do have secure online portals for you to load your documents. We share our documents. We share materials that we receive from the government through the online portal as well. So we have many options if you would like to work with our firm remotely or in person. Again, we only work with U.S. immigration, and we help clients all throughout the United States and abroad. Today is the first day that I'm going live after the new year. So happy New Year. I hope everyone enjoyed their holidays. You got some good rest and relaxation, and that you didn't have to think about immigration at all. But if you are in the market to change your status, to learn more about how to get a work permit, to maybe work on getting that green card, something you might be putting off, now is a great time to make that effort to schedule a consultation, to see kind of what the steps are, to see if you are eligible and you want to move forward with that application. Okay, so call us. We can accommodate you fairly quickly for a consultation, and a consultation is just a meeting with me. It can be by phone, by Zoom, or in person, and I will go through your immigration goals and let you know how you might qualify and all of the steps that are involved in getting you that green card or getting you work permit or other kind of status in the United States. All right, my name again, I'm streaming on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, so multiple people watching from different platforms. We're at Agarwal Immigration on all the different platforms. So whichever one suits you, please feel free to follow us and like us on that platform. We're at Agarwal Immigration. That's Agarwal Immigration. And my name is Pratibha Agarwal. I am an immigration attorney based in Arlington, Virginia, which is right outside of Washington, D.C. And we help clients with all types of immigration matters. So I come on live really just to answer your questions. So if you have questions, go ahead and put them in. We do work with all different types of immigration matters. So employment-based, meaning if you have questions about a work visa or an H-1B, if you have questions about family-based sponsorships, or even one of our more popular cases, VAWA, which is for victims of abuse, please feel free to put those questions in, and I'll do my best to answer them here. If you want to have a longer conversation about your particular case that's confidential, then call our office 703-348-1663 and schedule a consultation. You can also schedule a consultation, see my availability on our Facebook page, on our website as well, which is agarwalimmigration.com. Okay, hopefully that is helpful to you guys. If you don't already follow me, make sure you do. Say hi, Happy New Year, guys. Say hello if you're joining me for the first time. I see some new faces joining on these various different platforms. Hi, Suvendra. Hi, Tarun. Hi, Nikki. Hi, Wills. Hi, Shiva. Suvendra, it looks like you are on Instagram. We also have a lot of folks here on TikTok, and and Facebook folks. I don't know who you are, so feel free to say hi if you want. All right. Okay. All right. Great. So, Apologies, I cannot take video chats while I'm on live, so I appreciate you calling, but I cannot take video chats while I'm on live, unfortunately. But please go ahead and call the office 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. If you have a question while I'm on live, type it into the chat. All right, type it into the chat. I will do my best to answer it for you. Okay. So the question I want to start off with, this is the question of the day, and people get very, very worried, and I want to provide some more information on this, right? The question here is, does an RFE mean that my application is going to be denied? Does getting an RFE mean that my application is going to be denied? RFE stands for Request for Evidence. It's when the government has received your application and they just want to clear a couple more points. They want some more evidence on a couple more of the eligibility requirements. Getting an RFE is not terrible. Review the RFE carefully and provide them what they need. You can even include a letter with the explanation of how what you're providing satisfies a particular requirement. If you are nervous, I would recommend working with an attorney to respond to the RFE. Even if they didn't start your case from the beginning, they can jump in, review what you've submitted, and help with the RFE response. Okay? And sometimes you might not even realize that there's a response. It feels scary, but you may still be eligible. So don't worry until you've consulted with an attorney, and sometimes they're just requesting additional evidence to show that you satisfy one of the requirements of whatever immigration benefit you are applying for. So not to worry with an RFE, it is not the end of the world. Most of the time cases get approved after RFE, at least in my experience. Call us if we can help you with your RFE response in any kind of immigration case. My name again is Pratibha Agarwal, and you can reach us at 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. All right, great. Okay, so let's see. We have a lot of other questions as well, and I'm going to go ahead and try to answer them for you. All right, so Veena. Hi, Veena. Thank you for joining. Happy New Year. Veena says, how long does it take to get your passport back from the embassy in Guyana? So usually it only takes less than 10 days. So I would say 10 days, 2 weeks usually to get it back. I know people are delayed because of the holidays, maybe even some COVID pandemic issues. So it usually takes about 10 days to receive your passport from the embassy after you go for an interview. If they took your passport, that's good news. Most likely the visa is going to be issued. Okay, so if you have questions about applying for a visa abroad or applying for status here in the U.S., please reach out to me. My name is Pratibha Agarwal. I am an immigration attorney. I help clients all throughout the United States and abroad with all types of immigration issues. You can reach me at 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. And you can also, if you would like, you can also go on our Facebook page, which is at Agarwal Immigration, or our website, agarwalimmigration.com. And you can schedule a consultation if you have immigration questions to get started. If you've never worked with us before, we require a consultation for all new clients. If you'd like to work with us, if you'd like to talk more about your immigration case, I would love to do that with you. We can do it by phone, by Zoom, or in person. Again, we're located near Washington, D.C. if you would like to come and meet us in person, but we can represent you and help you no matter where in the U.S. you are located. So feel free to reach out, 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. I'm going to be on here for a little bit, so if you know folks that have immigration questions, or if you know folks that are interested in kind of learning a little bit more about immigration, make sure to share this with them. And if you don't already follow us, I'm on here frequently, so if you want to know when I'm on to ask questions, make sure you follow us on our platforms, like us where you need to on Facebook, and we're at Agarwal Immigration on all of our social media platforms, which is Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Okay, Guy Alvarez is asking some questions here on Facebook. Let me answer that for you. He says, I came to my green card interview in Ciudad Juarez, but they refused my case. They didn't explain anything. They gave me a blue paper saying I need a 601 waiver and an I-212 too. My husband is a citizen and I have 2 kids. They are citizens too. Now I'm stuck in Mexico and my family is suffering because I'm not there, and also where I am is not a safe place. Okay, so this is something that if you entered the U.S. illegally without papers, right? If you entered the U.S. illegally without papers and you're applying for a green card, I'm going to tell you, do not do that. Do not do it without an attorney, right? Do not do it without an attorney. So I don't know if you used an attorney, but it looks like you are subject to a bar from entering, right? It looks like you're subject to a bar from entering the U.S. So basically, if you are in the U.S. if you entered illegally, or if you're in the U.S. without status for 6 months, between 6 months and 1 year, it could be, if you entered between 6 months and 1 year, it could be, you would be barred from the U.S. for 3 years, right? So this is a good question. I think this is really important for many people that entered the U.S. illegally. So if you entered the U.S. illegally, and you either overstayed your visa or you never had a visa and you've been here illegally for between 6 months and 1 year, then you're barred from re-entry for 3 years. So that means if you leave the U.S., you cannot re-enter for 3 years, okay? If you have been illegally present, so basically if you had a visa and that expired, if your status expired and you've been illegally present for more than 1 year, or you entered illegally, stayed for more than 1 year, then you're barred from re-entry for 10 years. Okay, so these are re-entry bars. So if you leave, you can't come back. All right, so for you, you needed a waiver before you left. So there are waivers available before you leave to get permission to return. So when you have a spouse, when you have kids, you can apply before you leave for a 601 provisional waiver. Essentially, you're saying, yes, I'm subject to a bar to re-entry. Basically, I will be barred from re-entering. However, because of all of these reasons, please give me permission to re-enter even though I'm subject to the bar. So if you had applied for that before you left, you could have received it, then left, gone to the embassy for interview, and returned. So now you're out and you're stuck, right? Now you're out and you're stuck. Other than waiting out the full 10 years, I don't see a possibility for returning. I think that would be really, really hard. Also, right, you already have a 601A waiver approved. Okay, you could apply for the visa again, right? You could apply for a visa again. Hopefully you get a different officer, but the difference is the issue with the 601 waiver is you have 2 times illegal entry, right? So there's certain things that result in a permanent bar to re-entry. Okay, that results in a permanent bar to re-entry. So if you have had if you entered illegally, left, and then entered illegally again, you're subject to what's called a permanent bar. And the 601A waiver might not help with a permanent bar. All right, so that's the problem. You have a pretty complicated case. Unfortunately, I don't think there are many options, but if you do want to talk about it, give us a call. We can schedule a consultation. We're at 703-348-1663. I'm sorry to hear that you're going through this. I think the options may be slim. We could try for humanitarian parole, but you do have a permanent bar. So there are some options to try, but you have to kind of understand the risks involved, and there's no real way to guarantee re-entry. Okay, call us if we can help you, 703-348-1663. Hello, Shubham. Shubham says, Happy New Year. Can you talk a little about if a person has had some arrests or interactions with the police? Yes, I can talk about that. Sorry, hold on a second. Let me get to that in just a second, Shubham. We have another question that I want to address before we jump into this, which might also answer your question. Okay, so Will is saying, my question is, my prima facie expired. I wasn't given another one, and all I got is correspondence that USCIS is reviewing it. What does that mean? So USCIS in a VAWA application, for example, takes about 2.5 years to schedule your green card interview if you applied with a adjustment of status green card application as well. So if you filed your VAWA with your VAWA plus your green card application, it does take about 2.5 years for USCIS to schedule an interview, right? Your prima facie is basically kind of a review of your case, and USCIS is saying it looks like we're going to approve you. And that's usually given for a period of 1 year, and typically they automatically renew it. However, if yours did not get renewed, what we are doing as a law firm for our clients, we track this. We track to see when their prima facie expires, and we automatically will submit a request to the Vermont Service Center, which is the only service center that reviews VAWA applications. So we will submit a request saying, hey, this person's prima facie is expiring, and we haven't received a new one, and usually they'll just give us a new one. So if you've already had one, most likely you'll get a new one. All right, so you just have to ask. If you're working with an attorney, have your attorney reach out and ask for that, okay? I hope that's helpful, Wills. Shubham, okay, let's get to Shubham's question. Shubham wanted to know about what happens with persons who have been arrested or have had interactions with the police. So in terms of criminal issues, so I'm just going to talk generally about kind of any kind of immigration application and how crimes might affect any kind of immigration application. Okay, so one way in which crimes could affect your immigration application is one, to see, do you have a conviction or do you not have a conviction? So that means that somebody found you guilty and there was some kind of penalty, right? So do you have a conviction or do you not have a conviction? If you have a conviction and there's been some kind of penalty, then depending on how long the maximum penalty was for your case or how long you received, it's pretty complicated. Criminal issues are pretty complicated, but depending on how long the maximum penalty is for the conviction that you have, you might not get a particular immigration benefit, right? The question you're asking, Shubham, is really complicated, so it's very case specific, all right? But I'm trying to talk generally. The other thing is there's something called a petty offense exception. So if you receive under 6 months and it's your first offense, it can be kind of forgiven, quote unquote forgiven, right? But the other way, let's say you have a crime that's pending with no conviction, it can impact a determination of good moral character, right? So different cases require good moral character. Like, for example, citizenship requires good moral character. Let's say you don't have a conviction, but you have all these charges. Then that can weigh into whether or not the government finds that you have good moral character. I know this sounds really vague, but it's hard to kind of speak to criminal issues and their impact if we don't know like what particular thing that you're applying for. If you're in immigration court, you have different waivers available to you. So there's different impact that crimes can have on your immigration application. So I would suggest, if you have a criminal record and you want to apply for an immigration benefit, you definitely should talk with an immigration attorney. If you would like to work with our firm, give us a call at 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. We can have a consultation by Zoom, by phone, in person, and we can kind of walk through your criminal issues. What I would say to be prepared is to have the exact code section or the provision under which you were convicted, or to figure out what exactly is happening. So have the records with you and we can review them together, and I can explain the impact, if any, of the criminal, kind of the criminal issues. Okay, great. All right. We have a lot of folks here on TikTok. And I'm going to try, TikTok is a little bit hard, I'm going to tell you, to review the comments. But I'm going to scroll through and try to answer as many questions as I can. Jat says, hi, I filed a VAWA, no receipt notice, 2 months already. You can try to call USCIS if you're working with an attorney and you haven't received a receipt notice. You filed for your VAWA applications. Normally for us, it comes within a month or so. So if it's been 2 months, it could just be a delay. It could be lost, but you could also call USCIS, provide your information, and see if they can give you a copy of the receipt notice. The thing with VAWA, however, is that most of the time USCIS will not talk to you about your case, so you will have to send a letter to the Vermont Service Center letting them know that you don't have your receipt notices yet, and then they can either mail it to you or email it to you. All right, if you're working with an attorney, this is something that an attorney can help with. If you'd like to work with us on your VAWA application, we do these a lot. Feel free to reach out to us. You can reach me at 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. All right. Hi, Praveen. Hi, Zulfal. Happy New Year, guys. I hope that you guys really have a great new year. I hope that you take control, if you can, of your immigration status. And if we can help you in that process this year, if you can help you get that work permit, that green card, don't hesitate to reach out to us, because this is our goal, is to help people be independent and be free here in the U.S. Okay? All right. Lakshmi says, my mom and daughter filed I-751, no response if citizenship is filed for the mom. Will the daughter get her green card? Okay, what's an I-751 for those that are not familiar? So I-751 is essentially an application for a permanent green card. So if you apply for a green card and you're married less than 2 years at the time of your application, then you get a temporary 2-year green card. And at the end of that 2 years, you can apply for a permanent 10-year green card, which can be renewed indefinitely. Okay, so that's what she's talking about. If we can help you with that, call us 703-348-1663. Your particular question is, if you don't have a response, essentially, if you get your citizenship, your daughter, if there are a minor, will also get their citizenship. So you can apply for their passport, but if you want a citizenship certificate, you can do what's called a Form N-600 and get your citizenship that way. All right, or get a certificate of citizenship for the minor at that point. All right. Hold on a second. Okay. Emily says, I'm sorry. My husband filed a retaliatory criminal complaint when I was granted a restraining order against me, and I was convicted for disorderly person behavior in New Jersey. He was repeatedly insulting me, and I gave him a slap. Will this be a problem to prove good moral character for 360 or 485 to be approved? Thanks in advance. I think good moral character is something, when you talk about good moral character, something to keep in mind is it's not just one thing, right? So they look at good moral character kind of in the whole, in the totality of circumstances. That's the legal term for it. I know you guys are probably rolling your eyes. But basically, when you consider good moral character, you look at the bad and you look at the good. And so you might have something negative, but then you also look at, have you been working? Have you been paying taxes regularly? Have you been volunteering? Do you help people? Have you taken care of sick family members or sick friends? So there's lots of different ways to package your good moral character. If you've been caring for your kids, right? So there's many different ways to show that you are a person of good moral character, and this happened. But in a VAWA case, for example, these kinds of things happen, right? In a VAWA case, there are arguments. People are defending themselves. People aren't necessarily 100% good all of the time, right? When you're being abused, you might stand up for yourself once in a while. If you're being abused, you try, many people in these kinds of situations with VAWA will try to stay quiet and avoid the abuser, but sometimes that doesn't happen. So as long as you have an explanation, I think that's good. That will help with your determination of good moral character. But also, look at all of the other good things that you do and what can you do to show the government that you are a person of good moral character. Okay? Give us a call if we can help you. We're at 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. Someone here is saying, is there any way you can help people that have violated visitor's visa and have a medical condition? All right, can you help people that have violated the visitor's visa and have a medical condition? Or can I file an asylum application due to a medical condition that needs medical attention? Okay, what's asylum, right? Asylum is if you're afraid to return to your home country because you're going to be persecuted. Right, you have to fit into a particular social group. You have to be in a social group. So an example of that is I am of this religion, and people of this religion are persecuted in my home country, and I have proof of that because my siblings and my parents who live there have gotten threats, and someone has passed away, or someone has been really harmed because of X, Y, and Z. All right, so that's an example of an asylum case. So if you're in the US and you need medical attention or medical treatment, that doesn't qualify for asylum, right? That doesn't necessarily qualify for asylum because you need to be afraid to return to your home country because of some group that you fit into, if that makes sense. Okay? If you are here in the US and you have a visitor's visa, it's expired, what you might consider if you have a medical condition that's being treated and you can't leave, you might consider humanitarian parole. So basically asking the US government for permission to be here in the US so you can get this treatment to be for humanitarian reasons, right? You have this medical health condition, you can't be treated anywhere else. Maybe you can't even fly, right? Maybe you can't fly because it might aggravate your medical condition or put you at risk of serious health issues or even death, perhaps, right? So there could be other reasons. I would say look for something called humanitarian parole. We've actually done a number of these cases. We can help you with that. You can call our office for a consultation, 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. My name again is Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration lawyer, and I help clients all throughout the United States with all types of immigration issues. Okay, and if you want to put your questions in, I'm here and I'm ready to answer your questions. So feel free to put them in here, and I will do that. And I see some folks here putting questions in on multiple platforms. I will do my best to get to them, I promise. Okay. Sipa says, how long does it take to petition my husband if I have a green card? How long does it take to petition my husband if I have a green card? Usually, Sipa, about two years. I'm going to say a lot. The estimate will be 2 years. It's a long process. It starts off here in the U.S. and then once the petition gets approved here, it gets transferred over to the National Visa Center, and then from that point, it gets transferred to the embassy, and your husband will appear at the embassy abroad. However, I don't know where your husband is located, and this might not apply to your specific case. Okay? Give us a call if we can help you with your immigration questions. You can reach me at 703-348-1663. All right, and if you I've mentioned this a couple of times, but if you want to schedule a consultation, you can do so on our Facebook page. It's at Agarwal Immigration. It's called at Agarwal Immigration. And you can do it on our website, which is agarwalimmigration.com. If you want to check out our website, please go ahead and take a look at it. You can read a little bit about my background, about the services that the firm offers. You can even type in questions if you would like into our contact form. But we will contact you and schedule a consultation for you if that's what you prefer. But you can even look at my schedule and do it right now if you would like to get on my calendar. All right. I think I may have answered some of these questions. So I'm actually hoping. Okay. All right, so Tebebe is saying, regarding an N600, I already applied last year for my daughter. I'm still waiting for a response from USCIS. What do I need to do to get a response? So you can track your application online. So you can look at case status and you can see what the normal processing times are. I know for an N600 it takes a very, very long time. It seems like a simple process, but actually, in fact, it takes a pretty long time to have N600 approved. So you can look at normal processing times for the service center that you've submitted your application to. So I would check that out first. If it's outside of those processing times, there's an option to make an inquiry. But more likely than not, it might not be outside of processing times at this point. If you submitted last year, depending on when you submitted, it might still be within normal processing time. So at least that should give you some comfort that nothing has gone awry, that it's moving in the way that you need it to. But unfortunately, it does just take a long time, and you can wait. But outside of normal processing times, you can submit an inquiry. There's a button to do that once you go into your receipt notice, your application. Okay, if we can help you with that, call us 703-348-1663. Again, my name is Pratibha Agarwal. I am an immigration attorney. I help clients all throughout the United States with their immigration applications. All right. Charlize is saying, how can you prove emotional abuse from a narcissist partner in order to get a VAWA application? So for those of you that don't see it, how can you prove emotional abuse from a narcissistic partner in order to get a VAWA application approved? So for most VAWA applications, right, almost the only form of proof of abuse is the declaration, which is a statement from the applicant detailing all of the abuse in the marriage. So for us, the way our firm works, we do a super long call. It's usually about 2 hours long, and we ask questions to get information on all types of abuse: emotional abuse, financial abuse, psychological abuse, verbal abuse, right? So we have physical abuse too sometimes. Many clients don't have physical abuse, but if someone is a narcissist, if someone's always insulting you, that will fall under emotional abuse, psychological abuse, right? So we ask questions, we get your job is to answer, number one, truthfully and with as much detail as you can remember, right? So those two things are the points I make to all of our clients that call about VAWA applications. Like, answer truthfully and provide as much detail as you can remember. And we will ask the questions, and that's your job. Just answer our questions with as much information, truthful information, as you can recall. Okay, and then we draft that for you. You review it. You can edit it. Tell us for sure, if it's not accurate, if we misrepresented something, if we have the wrong date in there, or we misspelled something. You can give us feedback, but we will prepare it for you after a conversation with you based on the things that you tell us. So that's how you prove emotional abuse from a narcissistic partner. I hope that can help you. If we can help you with your VAWA application, call us 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. All right. Okay. Ishil Chi says, I came through the border and I was inspected. Can I get naturalized if I'm married? If you entered the U.S. legally and you married a U.S. citizen and then you became a green card holder, and you've been a green card holder for at least 3 years, then you can apply for citizenship, right? Obviously, each person's case is different. You might have different situations. Maybe you have a criminal history. Maybe you've been in proceedings. Maybe there might be other issues, right? So you want to be, for example, let's say you misrepresented on your tourist visa application. That's something you want to think about before applying for citizenship. But yes, it is possible. Of course, you want to make sure that you qualify. So I would suggest calling an attorney. If you've been out of status, you probably want to, if you can afford to work with an attorney, you probably want to work with an attorney to help get your work permit, to help get your green card, to help get you back in status. Call us if we can help you. We are at 703-348-1663. Olga says, I was a victim of abuse and I filed VAWA in September 2019. I'm waiting for more than 3 years and no RFE. Nothing. I did inquire through a congressman in USCIS and responded that my case is going through a background check. How can I speed up the process or make them review my case? The only way, unfortunately, to do that, well, there's a couple of ways. So number one, obviously, you want to submit the inquiries. If you're outside of normal processing time, go through and submit the inquiries with USCIS, right? But the real serious way to make the government make a decision on your case is by filing a federal lawsuit. I don't think most people want to do this. We do have some clients that have reached out to us and are working with us to do that. But basically you file a federal lawsuit asking the government to make a decision in your case. What's the basis of that, right? What's the basis of a federal lawsuit if your case is taking a really long time? So basically, each agency in the government is required to do their work in a reasonable amount of time. All right? They're required to do their work in a reasonable amount of time. So 3 years to make a decision on an application can be argued as not reasonable, right? Can be argued as not reasonable. So what you're doing is forcing the government to make a decision on your case. You're forcing the government to make a decision on your case. You are not forcing them to make a good decision. You're not forcing them to approve your case. You're just forcing them to review your application and make a decision. So you only want to do this if you think you have a very strong case. Because look, if you filed VAWA and it's not that strong, let's say it's not that strong, and you also were eligible for a green card application, you filed that green card application, you might be getting some benefits. You might be having work authorization, you might be having travel authorization, right? So you might be getting some benefits if you made a credible argument, but maybe you're not 100% sure that it's the absolute strongest case ever. You might weigh the benefits that you're getting to see, do I want to force the government to make a decision on my case? I don't know. This is what I tell people with asylum applications. If they filed asylum applications, they don't have an interview scheduled, and they're very upset and nervous. We got to go through the strength of that asylum application. How strong is it? Right? How strong is it? Because if it's not that strong, or you made a mistake in filing it by yourself anyway, you might not want to actually force the government to make a decision on your case, because you're getting work permit, you're getting some benefits, right? And maybe it's going to be denied, and maybe you're going to leave the U.S. I don't know. But think about the strength of your application before you consider filing for mandamus. Okay? All right, I'm kind of flipping through the comments here. Okay, so another question is, how long does it take USCIS to respond to an RFE? So usually it's about a month or 2 months, but sometimes what I'm seeing is it's about 30 days or so before they respond, before they make a decision on the case. Sometimes you get multiple RFEs, right? Sometimes you get multiple RFEs. Still, I don't think that's the end of your... I don't think it's bad necessarily, right? Because sometimes they might forget to ask something or whatnot, but I don't think that's necessarily an indication that that's the, that your application is not going well. There just depends on your officer. They forgot to ask something and they need like a medical report or something like that, right? Which is totally fine as long as you respond to the RFE in a timely fashion before the deadline. Then you still have a good chance of your case getting approved. All right, give us a call if we can help you. 703-348-1663. Again, 703-348-1663. And you can call us, or you can follow us on Facebook. You'll know when I'm live. You can hop on here and ask your question. Obviously, it's not confidential when I'm on here, and with all of these different folks joining from these various different platforms. But if you want to have a confidential consultation, please feel free to reach out to our office, 703-348-1663, or you can go on our Facebook page, which is at Agarwal Immigration, or our website, agarwalimmigration.com, and schedule your own consultation. All right? All right. So Tony says, can I file a VAWA if my marriage case is in the process of an appeal of a denial? Yes, yeah. So we have so many folks that have first filed a marriage application, the marriage doesn't go well, the marriage becomes abusive, and then they convert that or file another VAWA application, right? So we have many people that kind of have both going. If you have an appeal, you might consider withdrawing it, but it doesn't prevent you from filing for VAWA if you're eligible. So give us a call if we can help you with that, 703-348-1663. Again, you can go onto our Facebook page. You can go onto our Facebook page and schedule a consultation as well. All right. Okay. All right, I'm going through. So it says, where are you from? Well, originally I am from India. I was born in India, and my family immigrated to the U.S., to Connecticut, when I was 8 years old. So I grew up in Connecticut, and I went to college and to law school in Washington, D.C., and so I have lived in the Washington, D.C. area since then. So that's where I'm from. I guess home is the U.S., but I was born and have family still in India, and so that's also home in a sense for me. Okay, how long does it take to process a marriage case inside the United States? How long does it take to process a marriage case inside the United States? It's actually a lot faster. So I would say between about 1 year to maybe 1.5 years to process a marriage-based application inside the U.S. If you need help with your green card application, it's called an adjustment of status application. If you need help with that, give us a call, 703-348-1663. Again, my name is Pratibha Agarwal. I'm an immigration attorney. I represent clients all throughout the United States with their immigration applications. Ishil Ichi says, if I was inspected at the border, oops. Many people have that. Excuse me, we have a little issue popping up here. I lost that question, so I'm going to actually cancel that on here. I think I dropped off from TikTok. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened. Maybe I've been on for too long, but I'm going to actually wrap up for today. I have one last question. I got my green card through marriage and got divorced, and now I'm remarried. Is it possible to sponsor my new spouse for a green card? Right. I got my green card through marriage and I'm divorced, and can I sponsor my new spouse for a green card? Yes, you can, but you know what? They're going to check and make sure that your first marriage was not just for immigration purposes, okay? They want to confirm that the first marriage was not just for immigration purposes, that it was real. So for example, let's say you have children from that first marriage and that you owned a home together, that you lived together, took trips together, had joint finances, all of that, right? So you want to have proof of the first marriage being not just for immigration purposes, and also the second marriage, the current spouse that you're sponsoring, you want to show that that's real and also not just for immigration purposes. Okay, I hope all of this is helpful to all of you. Happy New Year, guys. I hope that this is a great year for everyone. I hope that you achieve all of your immigration goals. If we can help you with any of them, reach out to me. My name is Pratibha Agarwal. I'm based outside of Washington, D.C. in Arlington, Virginia. We help clients all throughout the United States, and you can reach us 703-348-1663, and you can also hop on our Facebook page, or you can hop on our website, agarwalimmigration.com, and schedule your consultation with me if you would like. I look forward to meeting you by phone, by Zoom, in person this year. I look forward to getting to know some of you and working with some of you on your immigration applications. All right, take care. Happy New Year. I will see you all soon. Bye.